In this video I'm going to change this to this. Today I'm going to show you 3 little jobs that I did on Zephyr IV. The bit that annoyed me all last season is the small decks either side of the cockpit. They are still covered in Kiwi Grip and it was poorly applied and they don't look nice. A couple of years ago I removed the Kiwi Grip from the side decks of Zephyr IV and painted them with a sand coloured conventional deck paint. It was a long, tedious job and I couldn't face doing the cockpit decks as well at that time. But I have time now, so here goes. First thing is to remove the Kiwi Grip. The easiest way I've found is to warm it with a heat gun and then use this push scraper to sort of plane it off. You mustn't heat it up too much though, or you will end up removing the gel coat too. Little by little the Kiwi Grip comes off. Then I needed to fill in any slight dents with epoxy filler. While that hardens, I mask the deck. It's important to do this well and accurately. Done properly, this will result in a neat job. I use this blue tape. It can be left on for several days and will peel off cleanly, unlike the cheaper buff coloured stuff that can be very difficult to remove and tears easily. Well, the filler has hardened and I sand it down smooth and then sand the whole deck before applying the first coat of deck paint. It's a bit like ordinary paint but full of fine grit, and when it's dry it's nicely non-slip. The first coat is always disappointing, but the second really looks good. I leave it for 24 hours at least before carefully removing the masking tape. And there it is, freshly painted cockpit side decks. Quite an improvement, I think. The second job is more complicated. Zephyr IV was a bit of a prototype, the first of the aft cockpit versions of the Westerly Ocean Quest, and there is one part of the cockpit that they didn't get quite right. The starboard cockpit seat tilts away from the centre and water collects at the rear of the seat and doesn't drain away. Eventually it evaporates and leaves all this mess. I frequently have to mop it up so I don't sit in it and get a wet bum. As you can see, a spirit level near the main sheet traveller shows Zephyr IV to be level. The spirit level on the seat shows the tilt backwards. After much thought, I decided that I needed to fit a drain and let the water flow down onto the cockpit floor, where it would then drain through the cockpit drains to the sea. I poured water onto the seat and carefully measured the depth of the water to find the best place to fit the drain. You can see the marks here. Then I modified the drain fitting so the centre was exactly level with the cockpit seat when fitted horizontally, so it would drain as much water as possible. As always with a boat, there was a complication. I could drill a hole in the rear of the cockpit, but I couldn't actually get to the other side as there is a wooden panel, presumably some sort of bulkhead, with a gap of around 1.5 inches. I managed to cut a hole in the wooden bulkhead big enough for the pipe, but no way to make one big enough to fit the locking nut. So I had to improvise, and once I'd fitted the drain fitting with a Sikaflex seal, I held it in place with a couple of stainless screws. The lower drain fitting is much easier, as Westerly had cut a chunk out of the bulkhead to accommodate the engine stop mechanism, and there was enough room for the other drain fitting, and I was able to use the regular locking nut. So I fitted the tubing between them, and it was time to see if it worked.
Well, moment of truth. I'm going to pour the water on the deck, and with a bit of luck it's going to go through the new fitting I've fitted and out into the cockpit floor. Let's see if it does. Oh, look at that. It's coming out a treat. water's draining away slowly. Oh, there's a little... It's very good, actually. That's better than I expected.
And now we get round to the third little job. The engine control panel is covered with a small sheet of acrylic. It's been there for 30 years, and the sun's UV has really affected its clarity. Good old Bill said, "I know where I can get some acrylic and we can replace that." So I removed it, gave it to Bill, and a few days later he returned with a pristine replacement. It took minutes to fit it, and we were both astounded by the improvement. So there you are, 3 little modifications that made a real difference. Maybe not essential, but very satisfying nevertheless. As always, thanks for watching. I'd be really pleased if you liked, subscribed, hyped or shared, and I always reply to any comments. Take care, see you again soon.